From Fremont, California, this is the Smokie Podcast, a production of the Smoke Signal covering everything from student life to what's happening in the world, all in short 20-minute episodes. I'm Jessica Yu, the web co-editor of the Smoke Signal. I want to welcome you to the very first episode of Season 3 of the Smokie Podcast, where 4 senior editors will give advice to the student body of MSJ as the only class with a full year on campus.
Hi, on this episode of the Smokie Podcast, editors from the Smoke Signal are going to delve into advice we have as seniors for underclassmen at MSJ. I'm Alina, the news co-editor.
I'm Isabella, the opinion co-editor.
I'm Nithika, the feature co-editor.
And I'm Mingxin, the graphics editor. Today we're going to be sharing a bit about what we've learned these past 4 years at MSJ.
As seniors, we're the only class who have had a full year at MSJ in person. We asked students to submit questions they have for seniors about MSJ campus, classes, and high school life. So let's start off with the first question.
All right, let's go with our first question. So our question is, how can I get involved around school, and what clubs should I join?
I found many ways to get involved around school, but what worked for me the most was the Bollywood dance team Ishara. I was able to meet a lot of people who are some of my closest friends now, but that definitely looks like something different for everyone. So what about you guys?
Yeah, I'd say I found my interest in engineering computer science through the clubs I joined. My freshman year, I explored all my different options, and I went to about 20 different club meetings. And throughout these past 4 years, I've found the clubs that work for me, the clubs that I'm interested in, and I'm really excited to be continuing down these roads into college.
Yeah, I think other than clubs, there's also something that I really explored, especially my freshman year, was joining the sports teams. So I've actually moved around a lot, and I moved over from Hong Kong to the United States back in junior high. So I had to drop a lot of sports as I moved around, and when I came to high school, I really wanted to find that sports team that I could call my own. So I joined water polo and wrestling teams in my freshman year and decided to stick with wrestling throughout. And I just want to say that I really encourage everybody to join a sports team at Mission, because your teammates become more than just people you go to practice with. They become your friends, your support system. So definitely encourage you to all join sports teams.
Yeah, that's super true. Isabella and I were actually on the water polo team in freshman year. And although we've both quit the team, definitely those memories that we've made throughout the past 2 years as a part of the water polo team are definitely still a part of us.
Yeah, going off of what they said, I think that the community aspect of Mission around these clubs and sports teams is definitely one of the most memorable things that you will ever have at Mission. So definitely try to challenge yourself and join a lot of clubs. Even if you don't end up pursuing them going forward in your high school career, you might find something that you really like. For me, it was speech and debate. In freshman year, I was really scared of public speaking and everything, but then I just pushed myself to join speech and debate, and then I found that I really liked it, and then I met a lot of people through it as well.
But also keep in mind, it's never too late to join these clubs or teams, and just because the year has already gotten started, it doesn't mean that you can't join. And so especially if you're a sophomore and this is your first year on campus, it's a great time to join and make those friendships.
So yeah, that's the perfect segue into our next question. We know that there's more to Mission than just clubs. There's spirit weeks, Friday activities, and sometimes it's difficult to keep track of since there's so many different flyers going around. So what will you gain from participating in these events, and how do you make the most of your high school experience?
Yeah, so I always really look forward to these at Mission. MSJ isn't always about study and academics, but these events are really great ways to connect with the people around you and your community. So always try to get involved with things like homecoming or multicultural week, or you can always participate with Friday events even. They're always really fun to do and organize, and you make really great memories through them as well.
Yeah, Homecoming and Multicultural Week are probably two of the most exciting weeks of the whole school year, and it's definitely something to look forward to, especially with Mission being so stressful. This can be a great way to de-stress and, just enjoy with your friends and show your spirit, and I think it's a really great way to have, the competition between all the classes and the dress-up days. It truly makes school a lot more exciting.
Mm-hmm. And I'd say don't let any anxiety or any fear of going to these events stop you from actually attending, because to be honest, when you're at that actual event, I bet you'll meet a ton of new people. That's how I met some of my closest friends. So just participate in as many campus events as you can and take advantage of the time you have back in person to meet new people and make new experiences.
Yeah, speaking of making the most of our time, I think that as a freshman, I really expected that I would get more involved in school when I went to my later years, but then COVID happened and we lost our junior year. So I think for underclassmen, it's also a great chance to take this opportunity. You're stepping on campus for the first time and you have your whole 4 years ahead of you. So take advantage of those 4 years, because this is the only time that you're going to be able to participate in these events.
So these events are super fun ways to de-stress, but how else do you guys handle stress at Mission?
Yeah, it's taken 4 years for me to find that perfect balance between academics, extracurriculars, and outside hobbies. But I found that taking time out of my week to pursue hobbies that I enjoy outside of school have made it really easy for me to find the perfect time management and the perfect way for me to de-stress. So for me, I found that art is a really therapeutic way for me to de-stress. I will draw anything and just go crazy on the canvas, and it makes me feel a lot better after an art session. So how do you all de-stress too?
For me personally, my family is usually a really good support system. Just talking to them, explaining to them all the things that are on my mind usually kind of calms me instead of kind of bottling it up. And so I think having maybe someone, if not an activity, that helps you de-stress can be really helpful.
Yeah, I think bouncing off of that, for me sometimes self-care is a little bit hard to put into my schedule, but I'll always make time for walks with my dog and chill time for reading, hang out with my family. So I think it's really important that you find something that helps you relax and know that it's okay to treat yourself to some well-deserved rest every once in a while. So even if it's trying something new, like taking guitar lessons for me, I have never touched a guitar before deciding to randomly do it in sophomore year. And I'm not the best at guitar, but it was a great way for me to have set times of the week to just relax and practice my new songs and know that it wasn't something that I was doing for a goal, for college apps or anything like that. It was just purely for me. So does anyone else have anything that they want to add?
Yeah, definitely. So I would say whenever you're picking your outside activities, try to find something that you actually enjoy doing, because it is a really great way to take time away from academics and classes at MSJ, especially since they can get really stressful and competitive sometimes, and just use that time to de-stress and take your mind off of it. And if it's a team activity or something with a really large community, just find a way to make friends through it, and then you'll have a really great time doing it as well.
Yeah, I think something else that we don't mention as much is that the best way to avoid stress is to avoid a super overly stressful course load. So making sure that you're picking the right classes and taking what interests you while taking things that challenge you. And just, again, finding that perfect balance is the key to balancing stress and managing your time.
Yeah, so in terms of picking classes, I know as an underclassman, you definitely don't have as many options, but the art elective and also the language elective are a huge decision that I guess you get to make. And for me personally, I wanted Spanish and I didn't get it, but I got French and I kind of made the most of that, and I learned French enough to, go to France and use it and help my family who obviously didn't know French. And similarly with the art requirement, I wanted digital photography, but I got digital imaging, and I kind of learned some skills that I even applied to the Smoke Signal today. And so these experiences taught me that no matter what kind of route you take and whatever courses that you do take at Mission, you can really make the most of it and, shape your personal path your own way.
I think one of the really things I want to talk about is that sometimes we don't take the time in high school to explore our options, and sometimes we really hone in on those subjects that we think we're really passionate about, but high school is a time for exploration. So for me, I was really initially hesitant to join the Smoke Signal my junior year because I'd never really done anything journalism or design related before that, and I also needed to drop a weighted class in order to replace that with journalism. But it's one of the best decisions that I've made in my high school career, because not only did I learn a lot, real world skills, business skills, writing skills, I've also gotten to develop new interests, meet new people. We've gotten on some amazing fun trips within the Smoke Signal. And it's also been a way for me to have something my school day that I just look forward to. So I definitely recommend exploring your options.
Yeah, definitely. Like Isabella said, there's a lot more that you can learn from these other classes outside of just academics that from school. So for me, it was just Smoke Signal. I learned so much, similar to Isabella, actually. We pretty much, I think a lot of people in the Smoke Signal have the same experience, where we learn so much outside of just, how to write a journalism article. We learn how to speak to people, how to reach out, contact them, and then how to communicate their ideas as well. Mm-hmm. So obviously you're going to have to finish all of your required courses when you get to your junior and senior year. You got to pick a lot of your classes, so definitely make the most of your options here.
Yeah, I'd say if you're making that decision between dropping a weighted course for an elective, I would most often go for that elective course, because chances are that elective course will teach you much more than you've expected, and it'll be one of the greatest experiences throughout your 4 years of high school. And something else, weighted classes definitely don't mean everything. I believe that you'll have a much better experience at school taking classes that don't put immense pressure on your shoulders. And definitely explore your elective options. So I took the smoke signal my sophomore year. I've been doing it for the past 3 years now, and it's been an amazing time. There's also marketing, ROP classes, and chances are you'll learn a lot more beyond the standard curriculum.
Yeah, bouncing off this idea about some of these ROP and non-standard curriculum classes, for me, I really, really love hands-on learning. So doing things by learning by doing, having projects. But with the strict curriculum set by the College Board, AP classes are sometimes really restrictive, and the teachers and students both don't have a lot of freedom for having exploratory projects. So ROP classes and elective classes are ways to break out of this strict curriculum and have some projects that you can learn in your own style.
But one thing to remember, while you're choosing these courses, is not to compare yourself to other people, because it can get into a really bad mentality where, someone's taking 6 APs and you're only taking 2, and you just don't want to compare yourself in that way, because it can make you kind of beat yourself up about it, even if you genuinely do feel like you like the classes you're taking.
Yeah, definitely over the past 4 years, the greatest lesson that I've learned is just not to compare yourself to others. It's definitely really difficult. But in terms of picking classes, picking extracurriculars, don't try to focus only on, will this look good on my college apps, but focus more on yourself and your own interests as well.
Yeah, and I guarantee you by senior year, everyone will just be doing what they want to be doing. So for me, I don't really have any classes with my other friends, but that's okay because we're all doing what we really enjoy and what we hope to pursue in college. And so just take the time to find out what's right for you rather than what other people are doing. And even if that's challenging the norm, I'd say totally go for it.
Yeah, so let's go into our last question, which is, what is your favorite memory at MSJ?
I think the small interactions, which is meeting my friends during passing period and talking to them at lunch, is definitely one of the highlights of my past 4 years. And I kind of realized that having COVID last year and not being able to see people in person. So it's definitely something I'm going to treasure because I'm not going to be able to see these people every day starting next year.
Super true. Yeah, I totally agree with that. I'd say for me, one of my favorite memories is just, if I'm going to be completely self-introspective here, one of my favorite memories was just seeing how much progress and confidence I've gained over these past 4 years. I remember as a freshman, I was way too scared to do the things that I really enjoyed. And I was scared to talk to new people. But now as a senior, I've developed a lot more confidence in terms of what I want to do, the people that I see every single day, and all the memories I've made.
Yeah, I think that's really relatable for me too. I think also kind of introspectively, walking into Mission as a freshman, I was not sure what I wanted to do. I had really no idea of what career I wanted to go into. But now through the people I've met, through my groups that I've hanged out with in classes, my lab groups, my project groups, hanging out with people at PE and my friend groups beyond all of these classes, I've really discovered that what I want to do is, business and technology. So without Mission, without my high school experience, I wouldn't have that. So I think that's one of my favorite things about my high school life.
Yeah, I definitely agree with Isabella. The communities around me were the greatest memory I've ever made at Mission, especially around homecoming week, which I think for everyone is pretty memorable. Homecoming week, multicultural week, and other school events. Those are definitely the most memorable and most fun parts of high school that you'll probably ever have.
Yeah, and if any of the advice we gave ever sounds overwhelming or confusing at times, just remember that it took us 4 years to figure this out, and we're still in the process of learning how we can navigate high school even better. So we've come a long way since freshman year, and it took us a lot of mistakes and lessons to come here. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. We're always here to help.
Yeah, and one thing to keep in mind is that everyone's high school experience is truly different, but it's kind of up to you how you shape it, and it's up to you to make the most of it. And of course, it's more important now than ever to live in the moment and make the most of everything.
Yeah, and that's it for our questions today. We're really excited to meet all of you and see new faces at Mission, and we hope that we were able to share some helpful advice.
For more content by The Smoke Signal, visit our website at www.thesmokesignal.org. To our listeners, thank you for taking the time out of your day and tuning into this episode of the Smokie Podcast. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we did.
We want to thank Isabella He, Nithika Valluri, Mingxin Wang, and Alina Zeng for joining us on the first episode of the Smokie Podcast this year. Our background music is produced by Lucrembo, and our show is edited by Tanisha Srivatsa and Jessica Yu. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on the Smokie Podcast.